Thank you so much, Jim. Yeah, we've been on here for a week now, and man, the feedback of what we've gotten so far, I just appreciate you and all the other leaders here to allow us to join the best accountability group at Symmetry Financial Group. So we are super blessed. I'm Craig McManamon. I am direct to Christopher Leak, Steven Jackson, Eric Ondrick, Darren Stubbs, Tony Capistrano, Kyle Kimbrell, Ashley Tarr, Danny Young. It's a mouthful, but I am super blessed to be a part of that line. So today I want to speak about failure. And I feel like I'm the foremost professional on failure. And that's what I'm going to pour into you guys today and kind of talk to you. I am direct to symmetry. I got there because I'm a professional failure, and I'm going to explain that here in a bit. So you guys can just kind of see that the path here is not maybe what it looks like from the outside looking in. Um, I'm not the most intelligent human. I'm not the best speaker. I'm not the deepest thinker. I graduated high school with a 2.5 GPA, barely made it out of high school. Spokane has a couple community colleges around here. I went to both of them. I failed out of both of them. There's a university around here called Eastern Washington University. Went there, failed out, dropped out. I even went to a school called ITT Technical Institute. Failed out of that one. Had about $70,000 in student loans, but didn't have anything to show for it. Okay. By the time I was 25 years old, I had 22 different jobs. I had got fired from most of them, no called, no showed some of them, or quit, but failed out. 22 different jobs by the time I was 25. I had a conversation with my father, and he said, Craig, are you ever going to amount to anything with your life? You ever going to do anything with your life? At around 25 years old. That hit pretty hard. See, my father's an entrepreneur. He successful, retired now. My brother followed his footsteps, entrepreneur, successful, retired now. And my grandfather, his dad, also a successful entrepreneur. And I'm like grabbing the scraps from my dad, borrowing money from my dad at 25, going into my late 20s. I'd failed relationship after failed relationship, failed family member relationships, friendships, just not in a good place in my late 20s. I got a call one time from a buddy, and he goes, "Hey, can you do you know anything about computers?" And I go, "Oh, okay." And I go, "I went to ITT Tech. Of course I know about computers, but I failed out of that school." And I'm being facetious, but he goes, "Hey, can you if you know anything about AutoCAD, we're hiring." And I go, "Oh, I did take a couple AutoCAD classes there." So I got hired on at this granite shop as a CNC operator. Did that for a little while. I got promoted again. I started at $11 an hour there. And for the first time in my life, I kind of felt a little bit of success. I was like, oh, what's this? This is fun. I'm not failing. I was there for the longest I'd ever been with a company. It was over 2 years. I stayed there for 3 years. I got promoted again to branch manager. Um, and through being there, and I was there for a total of 11 years, which was the biggest success at that point in my life, for sure. Through being there, though, I got to really understand what a toxic work environment was like. I got to understand what a W-2, thumb on your head, not looking to get people promoted, trying to keep people down, restructuring bonus platforms, disappointment, empty promise after empty promise. So I started feeling like a failure again because I had put so much trust into this company. I planted my flag there. I thought I was going to be there forever, realized I was building someone else's dream. And for example, one of their bonus structures was we were going to earn 10% of the profits at the end of the year as a branch manager. The sales centers weren't built to be a the sales centers weren't built to be a profit center though. So but in my fourth year running that, we made $100,000, and I got a $10,000 bonus at the end of the year. That was massive to me because I was put a 3 in the chat. If the more money you make in life, the more money you spend. That's exactly what I was doing. So even though I was making more money, I was spending more money. I was still paycheck to paycheck. So a $10,000 bonus was massive at the end of the year for me. That next year, we were on pace to make $1 million. October of that year, The CEO restructured the bonus because they saw what was happening and capped it at 5 grand. I was on pace to make $100,000 bonus and they capped it at 5 grand. So through that kind of stuff and disappointment, there's no contract there. There was no ownership there. They could do whatever the hell they want. I checked out. I checked out of that company. My boss surprised me in October of 2021. He showed up and and I was about to, I turned my notice in. I had an email drafted, turned it in to not my CEO, not my big boss, but turn it into my immediate supervisor saying that I was leaving. I'm going to give him till the end of the year. What are your thoughts? He must have got wind of that. He showed up. They fired me after 11 years. He said, Craig, take the company car. I drove a company truck. He's like, take that. That was on a Wednesday. I got fired. He said, take that until Friday. Cause I told him, I don't, Mike, I don't even have a car. What am I supposed to do? He goes, keep it till Friday and figure it out. So I drove home that day. And as I was driving home from work, my last day at that company in late October of 21, I started thinking of all the failures again in my life. I was walking back in like 2017, 2016. Me and a couple of buddies, we went out to my parents' lake house for the 4th of July. And I'm carrying this beer through the boat marina, and I drop this beer on the ground, and glass goes everywhere right in front of the boat marina. And my dad runs over to come clean it up. My stepmom walks by, and she goes, Ron, that my dad's name is Ron. She goes, Ron, you're always cleaning up after him. You're always going to have to clean up after him in front of my whole family. That story hit, and I remembered that as I'm driving home in 2021. And I sat there, and guys, I'm 38 years old. I'm in the last time I'm going to be in this company truck. I'm sitting in my driveway, and I am ugly crying, because my whole life at this point has been a massive failure. I had nothing to show for it. There's some of my agents that have made comments that, Craig, you've done really good here because you had money saved up. I had no money saved up. I had a home equity line of credit worth about 60 grand sitting that I hadn't used. That's what I used to get to start here at Cemetery. That I had that. That's actually not what I used to start here at Cemetery. That's what I used to live on after I got fired from that job. So I was using debt to live because I had nothing. I was 38, late 30s with nothing to show. Had a son, had a family, had a house with nothing to show. Failed relationship again after failed relationship. And I had Cemetery in the background at that point. I had been appointed with Cemetery, but I hadn't done anything here yet. I even went and took two more. To shout out to Sarah Reinecke, State Farm. I took an interview at State Farm. I didn't even get to the personality test. They didn't even offer the personality test to me there. I also took an interview at another insurance company called Country Financial. Didn't get hired there either. Didn't even get offered a job there. Nothing. So they didn't make any second interview. Just complete failure. So I started March of 2022. I was like, man, I should probably do Cemetery because I'm going to run out of money. My back's now against the wall. I didn't, I mean, I had no belief in myself because I had never done anything worth believing in. So I'm sitting there like, crap, I got to do this. So I started dialing some leads and trying to figure this out. I actually found a recording yesterday of the first time I recorded myself. I shared it in the master agency chat. I was terrible, you guys, but I was failing forward. And that's what I figured I could do here. So I started failing more and realizing I wasn't gonna get fired if I failed here. I wasn't gonna lose relationships if I failed here. They almost embraced it here at Cemetery. So I started writing a little bit of business. At this point, I had written about $10,000 in APV, and Christopher Leak called me in June of 22, and he goes, Craig, what do you want to do here? And those of you that know me have heard a bit of this story. This is a pivotal moment for me here at Cemetery. And I go, Chris, first, actually, before he asked that question, he goes, Craig, before I give you any advice or tell you or point you in anywhere that I feel value in, I'm going to say that it's an area that if I don't see value in it, I'm not going to put you there. So just know as a leader. And I love that about him. Like he wasn't going to advise me on anything if he hadn't had experience doing it first. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool that you said that. Because most people, like the company that I came from was always like, do what I say, not as I do. Um, I really admired that about him. And then he goes, what do you want to do here? And I kind of chuckle and I go, Chris, I want to go to the top of the company as fast as I can. I didn't believe the words that were coming out of my mouth, but he did. He goes, okay, I believe in you. And I thought to myself in that moment, at that time, why? I haven't shown you anything. I had been appointed for 18 months and barely wrote a bit of business. I hadn't done anything. But because of the leader that he was, and then getting to know more leaders around this company, getting to know leaders in this group, I found out that if you could harness failure and if you could use it as a superpower instead of a fault, you could win here. And I learned from Chris and I learned from other mentors that if you failed forward fast and often, you could really figure this thing out. So I failed a lot. I failed a lot at production. I failed a lot at building. I failed a lot at recruiting. I failed a lot at hiring agents. I made a lot of mistakes here. I made a lot of mistakes all the way to the top of the company. And I kept making them. I made so many mistakes and I failed so often that my parents told me they were proud of me. I failed so often here in the 2.5, 3 years that I first got started that I got to take my sister on a carrier trip with me. I failed so often that I got to take my brother, my golden pony star brother of my family, on a carrier trip with me. On that trip a few weeks ago, he got to meet Todd Spivey. Todd Spivey sent me this text message at 10 o'clock at night as we were, I had already gone to bed. They were having some cocktails around the fire. Todd Spivey sent me this. Sean's my brother. Sean is a good dude. He loves you. He's very proud of you. I said, thanks, Todd. That's awesome. I was half asleep. My response wasn't very good, but he said, he told us how cool this has been to see you crush it in the business with people like us. He was so proud he was getting choked up. Todd said, it's the best, better than any deposit. And then Todd said, I took my dad to a trip 2 weeks ago and it wasn't easy, but watching him be so proud of me was the coolest thing I had ever seen. I found out that failing at Symmetry Financial Group meant winning. Failing at Symmetry Financial Group meant that you could become successful here with harnessing failure. That anybody could come here and fail as often as they wanted to, make a mess, make mistakes, as long as you're learning from them and you're listening and you're checking in with your mentors while you're failing. This thing can go as big as you want it to go. You aren't going to lose your job. You're not going to lose relationships with failing here, if as long as you can harness them. And so for the first time in my life, through failure, through failing over and over again, I never felt like a failure anymore. I don't feel like a failure anymore. And I got there because I failed so often before. So I'm a professional failure and I failed my way to the top here. And I felt that I think there's someone that maybe need to put a 3 in the chat if you've ever felt like a failure in life. And if you've ever felt like a failure in life, I'm going to tell you right now, you're in the right spot. With this leadership, with this company, and with what we can do here, you can fail your way to the top. So I hope that lands with you guys. Jim, that's what I got today.
Man, that hit me, I think, deeper than I expected it to, Craig. I don't even think I realized how much overlap we had in our stories and my indecision for so much of my life. I mean, I'm 30 years old and I still with a family and 3 freaking kids, and I don't know what I want to do with my life. Like literally just spinning circles. Um, it's haunting. I was scrolling Instagram and Alex Hormozy, who I know a lot of us follow, posted this carousel. I think it was yesterday. At least I saw it yesterday, and it reminded me so much of what you were just talking, Craig. In watching what you did as fast as you did, it was, yes, you failed your way to amazing things, but you were willing to move so quickly. You didn't sit still and overthink anything. You ran through brick walls as fast as you could. And Hormozy posted this carousel yesterday. He said, money loves speed, wealth loves time, poverty loves indecision. He goes on, decision fatigue isn't caused by making too many decisions. It's caused by postponing difficult ones. Companies and businesses move at the speed of decision making. If you're not going to get any more information to make a decision, make it now. And then I loved this. He said, your business will move at the speed of your ability to make decisions. It's the same reason beating a video game level you've already played takes so little time. You already know what you're going to do. 0 decisions, pure execution. It's almost always faster to make a decision, make a mistake, fail, and correct it than it is to painstakingly deliberate on the decision. If you know how long it would take to fix it, you're wrong. Then just make your best bet. And that's what you did. You came in here, you moved so fast, you executed so fast, you invented things that you had no idea if they were going to work or not, but you did it fast. And then you figured out if that was a good idea or not. I never, ever in this whole span of whirlwind of you getting to the top, ever saw you get stuck anywhere. You would fail, but you would try 10 different things, fail all of them until you found the one that worked. And you would do that faster than most people would try one thing.
100%. And the thing is, Jim, people are afraid of failure. Humans don't want to fail. I got comfortable with it. Get comfortable with it. Do it as often as you can. Learn from it. That's the difference. And I'm giving you all permission to do it as often as you can, because doing it and moving forward is how this thing is going to work for you. You have to do that. That meme that it says like the one guy bow and arrow, and it says this is success, and it's the guy and he hits the bow and arrow one time in the middle, and he's got all these arrows around, and most of them are missing the target, and most of them maybe one or two hit the target, one of them's right in the middle. That's success. Failure, true definition of failure, is the guy still holding the arrow and never takes a shot. And
Aiming,
he just
aiming
stands
for
there,
aiming
aiming.
forever,
Yes,
trying to line up the perfect shot and never actually freaking releasing the arrow.
100%.
That's what I watch so many people do, man. They're like, why am I not at the top? Because you make 100 dials a week. You're holding the arrow. You're overthinking the script. You're rewriting the script. You're second guessing everything. You should have made 1,000 dials before you're done revising the script.
Mm.
That's why you're stuck. You're not doing anything. I don't know what else to tell you. You didn't come
Yeah,
here for gentle. I don't know what else to tell you.
it's cliche, but analysis by paralysis. You're going to be you're just move, just show up and move, go forward, make mistakes, be okay with it. Here we embrace it. We want you to do it. Here you're not going to lose your job. Here you have that opportunity. Just go, move.
So good. Man,
Thanks for having me today, Jim.
your voice is gonna be so good for this entire group moving forward, man. You are a missing piece we are really excited to have here.
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for the team to be here too. It's been a lot of fun weekend and we're loving it.
Love it. All right, stop the recording.